Hello, Amusement Park Portal. Here we are for another top 10 video. This time we're going to concentrate on the top 10 Six Flags parks. Okay, and the criteria that we're using for this top 10 list is the coaster lineup. This is like the variety of coasters that they have in the park. Next up, we have theming. How well is the park themed? Next up, we have layout. Is it easy to navigate the park? Are there dead ends? That type of deal. And finally, we have non coaster rides. That could be anything from log flumes to spinning pukes. Okay, and bottoming out our list is Six Flags America. Now, this really isn't a bad park, but as far as lists go for Six Flags, this is definitely at the bottom of the barrel here. The park has three headlining coasters: Superman Ride of Steel, Joker's Jinx, and the Wild One are the best coasters at this park. A few of the park's other coasters feature a floorless coaster, Firebird, the Roar wooden coaster, a suspended looping coaster called Mind Eraser, and Batwing, which is a Vekoma flying coaster out in the middle of nowhere. As far as theming goes at Six Flags America, the colonial theming they have at the park's entrance and Main Street is beautiful. But unfortunately, that's where the good theming ends. The park does have some random DC theming throughout, including ride names and concession stands. The best theming in the park belongs to the Western Town area of the park. They did a really good job with the theming here. However, this area of the park turns into a dead end, which makes getting around this park a little confusing. And lastly, the non-coaster collection that this park has is average at best. It's not bad, but it's not great either. Okay, moving on to number 9 on our list. Six Flags New England takes that spot. Now, this really isn't a bad park. We actually have a lot of fun when we visit there. One of the reasons that this park scores so lowly on our list is the theming. Beyond the loosely themed Main Street area of this park, the park is mainly blacktop and very few trees. That can make for a pretty miserable day if it's hot out. This park has two headlining coasters: Superman the Ride, which is just an airtime machine. It's an awesome coaster. And also Wicked Cyclone, which is the park's converted RMC coaster, which is also a heck of a lot of fun. A few other coasters of note in this park is the classic Thunderbolt wooden coaster. This is quite a fun ride here. And also Batman Dark Knight, which is like a B&M floorless coaster. This one's a lot of fun as well. But beyond that, the rest of this park's coaster lineup is cookie cutter, off the shelf coasters that you can find at most theme parks around the country. Now, this park's non coaster lineup is nothing special, average at best. They have some spinning rides, a drop tower, but I'll tell you, the star of the show is Houdini's Great Escape, which is one of those spinning madhouse type rides. Definitely recommend checking that one out if you're ever at this park. Now, this park's layout can be a bit confusing at times. There are several dead ends, and even a dead end that makes you walk up a large set of stairs. Coming in at number 8 is Six Flags St. Louis. Now, personally, I really enjoy this park, but if we have to put it up against all the other Six Flags parks, this is unfortunately where it's got to land in the list. Now, this park has three standout coasters: Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast Coaster, which is pretty much the star of the show. Then we have the Screamin' Eagle, which is just an awesome classic out and back wooden coaster that can't be missed. And finally, we have American Thunder, one of the park's other wooden coasters that's just a very smooth, enjoyable wooden coaster. Some of the other park's coaster lineup offerings include Batman, which is another B&M coaster that can be found at other Six Flags parks. The River King Mine Train, classic mine train coaster. It's actually not too bad. Pandemonium, your typical spinning coaster. They have a boomerang, and probably two of the worst coasters in the park is the Boss. It's brutal. One of the roughest wooden coasters I've ever been on. And also the Ninja, which is a looping coaster that will definitely leave you with a headache. Six Flags St. Louis has a basic flat ride package. You can find a lot of these at other parks. Now, they do have a Sky Screamer ride, but they do have a log flume ride, which is really a lot of fun. It's like a dual log flume. And they also have a rapids ride, in addition to a dark ride as well. As far as the park's layout, it's pretty straightforward. It'd be pretty hard to get lost in this park. Now, when it comes to theming, they did a decent job. They didn't go overboard with the theming. There are a few areas of the park, like the studio backlot. It looks like they were trying to do something, and they did a couple nice little areas and then just seemed to give up. Overall, I think Six Flags St. Louis is one major coaster away from being one of the upper tier Six Flags parks. Coming in at our number 7 spot is Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Now, this unique park is home to more than just roller coasters. They also have several animal displays and exhibits to enjoy throughout your day. Now, this park's headlining coasters are Medusa, the B&M floorless coaster, and the RMC Joker, which is one of the most popular coasters in the park. And this park is also home to several other coasters, including Superman, a launched impulse coaster, Safari Sidewinder, a spinning mouse coaster, The Flash, a boomerang coaster, a hang and bang, also known as a suspended looping coaster, and a few kids' coasters are thrown into the mix as well. As far as non coaster rides go, this park is kind of lacking in that department, but the selection that they do have is decent. They have a bunch of spinning ones, a Starflyer, a Teacups ride, and a Rapids water ride. With this park, all the animal activities and rides are kind of in their own separate areas, so the layout can be a little bit confusing. Coming in at our number 6 spot is Six Flags Over Georgia. This park has a pretty well rounded coaster collection, but three of its top coasters are Goliath, Riddler Mindbender, and Twisted Cyclone. Some of the park's other coaster offerings include Blue Hawk. It's a multi-looping coaster. The Dallahoga, if I'm saying that right, Mine Ride. Superman Ultimate Flight. The Great American Scream Machine. Daredevil Dive. And Batman the Ride. Some of the park's flat ride offerings include Acrophobia Drop Tower, a Log Flume, Justice League Dark Ride, and one of the best rides in the park, Monster Mansion Dark Ride, which is just a true classic. And if you're into carousels, they have one of the most beautiful carousels in the country. As far as theming goes, the Lick Skillet area of the park is kind of like a western town. It seemed pretty good. And also the Gotham City area of the park is themed as well. As far as the park layout goes, it's pretty straightforward, as there's only one dead end, and that being in Gotham City. The rest of the park is pretty easy to navigate. All right, checking in at our number 5 spot is Six Flags Great America, just north of Chicago, Illinois. Now, this park has one of the most well rounded coaster collections of all Six Flags, including Raging Bull, Goliath, the classic Whizzer coaster, which you don't see many of these around anymore, and X Flight. A few of the park's other coaster offerings include Superman, the Demon, the American Eagle Racing Wooden Coaster, the Flash, Batman, Max Force, and the Viper. This park also has a decent flat ride collection, including Condor, Ricochet, and a very unique indoor teacup ride. This Six Flags park has some wonderful theming, including the Southwest Territory and the main entrance plaza of the park where you have this fountain and view of this lovely double-decker carousel. The layout of this park is basically one giant loop, so it's pretty hard to get lost. Coming in at number 4 is the OG Six Flags Park, Six Flags Over Texas. This park is just packed to the brim with great coasters, including the new Texas Giant, Titan, La Vibora, Mr. Freeze, and my personal favorite, Shockwave. Some of the park's other coasters include Spinsanity, which is a spinning mouse coaster, an indoor runaway mountain, Batman the Ride, Judge Roy Scream wooden roller coaster, and a combination mine train and mini mine train. This park also has a pretty decent selection of flat rides if you're not into the coasters. They also have Case of Magnetica, which is a pretty neat walkthrough, Aquaman water coaster, and the world's very first log flume coaster. This park does have some decent theming scattered throughout. However, Six Flags Over Texas has one of the most confusing layouts, especially in the Western Town area and the Spain area of the park. So get yourself familiar with the park before you visit. But there's all kinds of nooks and crannies to explore in this park. Coming in at number 3, we have probably the most beautiful Six Flags park out there, Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This park is loaded with some great coasters, including Iron Rattler, Superman Escape from Krypton, and Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. The park also has a pretty good flat ride collection, including a pool table themed teacup ride, a Star Flyer, and a pretty good log flume themed to Bugs Bunny. This park is unique as it's built basically inside of a quarry. Everywhere you look, you can see the quarry walls surround you. And in addition, just the theming in the park in general is just beautiful. Six Flags really did a good job with this park. Coming in at number 2 on our list is Six Flags Great Adventure. This park is home to some of the best coasters in the country, including El Toro, King Ka, and Nitro. In addition to those great coasters, the park offers a wide variety of other coasters as well, like Medusa, Jersey Devil, the Joker, 2 indoor coasters, and more. One of the other unique aspects of this park is the park's Wild Safari attraction, where you could board a Jeep and drive through a savanna filled with all types of wildlife, including elephants, tigers, and lions. In addition to that, the park offers a nice wide variety of non coaster rides like a good log flume, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman. As far as this park's layout goes, it's really not that difficult to navigate. The park is basically shaped like the figure 8. While this park does offer some sporadic theming throughout, by far the best themed area in the park is the Golden Kingdom. Coming in at our number 1 spot is probably not a big surprise to anybody, but it belongs to Six Flags Magic Mountain. This park has it all if you're a coaster lover. They have over 20 roller coasters here. Some of those coasters include X2, the only coaster of its type in the country, Goliath, Twisted Colossus, Tatsu, the flying coaster, Superman Ultimate Escape, Scream, the Great American Scream Machine, the classic Revolution coaster, Ninja, and the Gold Rusher. Now, this park is lacking slightly in the flat ride department, but that's okay because the coasters more than make up for it. Now, this park's layout can be a bit confusing and hard to navigate at times. After all, it is located directly on a mountain. Now, this park does have some decent theming throughout, one of my favorites being the big sign they have sitting out front of the Goliath coaster. All right, and that's going to do it for our top 10 Six Flags parks. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my top 10 list here. And as always, I want to thank everybody for watching, and don't forget to please hit that subscribe button so you can always keep up to date on all of our latest videos. Thanks for watching.